Hello everyone, this is Nick from the FTW podcast. I'm AtomicDeke here on the server. You've probably seen me in a few other videos that Garvin has put up, but in case this is your first time seeing me, I have Bray Wyatt as my skin, not only because he's one of my favorite wrestlers in WWE, but I've been told that I bear a striking resemblance, and if you check out our Facebook group, you can see that for yourselves. On to why we're here. Recently I did a lot of expansion work in my house, and Garvin suggested that it merited a video all of its own. So, without further ado, let's begin the grand tour. As you can see right now, we are in the shop at the moment. Garvin did a lot of great work here, and in particular, I'm starting out here so we can ride the Skyrail over to my house. So, let's get back into this view so I can actually see where I'm going. And right here you'll see we've got our northbound rails, both for the tunnel rail and for the sky rail. So we're going to take the sky rail over so you can see my house as we go in. And this is my stop on the sky rail right here. And off in the distance you can see the top side portion of my house over there. So let's take a ride on over. You might be able to notice here, I'll take a look back once we get to my house, but since Garvin took all the time to add supports for the Skyrail on the rest of the system, I decided to add a few of my own, just so it would all fit together. And let's take a look here. Yeah, there's a few over here by this path from the old shop area up to my house. And right here we've got a little ladder down to the house, and it goes all the way through down to the bottom, down to the ground floor of the house. Originally I built this area as sort of a wizard's tower, but at the time I hadn't gotten together all the stuff that you need for a typical wizard's tower, like your enchanting tables and your brewing stands. I was pretty new to Minecraft at that time, so I didn't know how to do that stuff. So basically all this is now is an access way to the Skyrail. I'm going to have to figure out something to do with all the rest of this empty space right here. But that's for another time. So let's go into the main lobby of the topside part of my house. And again, this is all basically empty space ever since I did the expansion. Right here is the exit to the path that goes out to the old shop area. Over here we have what I'm currently using as my animal pen. Now you can see all this up here. You might be wondering what that's for. Originally when I built this, it was an area to grow trees so that I could get my own wood, oak, spruce, what have you. But then when we started selling the wood planks and the saplings out in the shop, that kind of became obsolete. So then I turned it into a little farm area. And then when I built my garden down below, I really didn't need that anymore. So I decided to use it for my animal pen. And here you can see Basil, my brown sheep. There's Landshop, Barry. Over here we have Dolly. And there's my pig, Popo. Because at heart I'm a child and I couldn't think of a fitting name for a pig. In here we have my little fishing room. Pretty much what it says. And as we go back through here, I will give you a look at my dock area. So it's just a little dock. Got some slips here for rowboats and whatnot. And basically, this is just a nice area to sit here, taking the view. And it is a pretty nice view. Down there, you will see some glowstone. So, if you're wondering what that is, let's just go and check that out. Oh, iron blocks. And a little tunnel. Where does this ladder lead to, I wonder? Well, here it is. This is the first level of my expansion here. I took a cue from Garvin with some of the glowstone lighting by putting some bushes up in front of it, just to give it a nice look. And I did sort of the same for some glowstone around the floor area, except I decided to use trapdoors as kind of a box for the glowstone. And it's nice because it lets the light through. It doesn't block it. So that's pretty nice. Over here, I've got some cats. Say hello to Orion. Named Orion because if you watch the Men in Black video, that was the name of the cat there, and I love Men in Black, so there's a little tribute to that. Here's Mister. I'm also a big Dresden Files fan, so if you know anything about that, you'll recognize Mister here. And this is Garfield because the only two orange cats I know are Garfield and Heathcliff, and I like Garfield a whole lot better. So here's a little fireplace just for ambiance, as well as a polar bear rug, just for setting. And let's go downstairs here. This is my main hub area. It goes to pretty much all of the portions of my house below ground. And on either side here, got more fireplaces for more ambiance. And down here, direct from the staircase from above, we've got my maximum security monster dungeon. So let's see what's going on down here. Basically, my original idea for this was I was going to have several cells, and I'd use some spawn eggs to throw over the bar area, and I'd populate each cell. But considering that spawn eggs can be used... Well, let me backtrack. We have a property claim system here on the server. And essentially what that does is it prevents griefing from outside users. Unfortunately, spawn eggs can be used even in someone else's claim, so we decided not to put those on the shop, and I've been relying on natural spawns to populate my cell area. So in here, got a couple of zombies, and over here I actually have a zombie pigman, which is pretty unusual if you're outside of the nether. So I was pretty lucky there. And I think I have... Yeah, here's a new cellmate. I got a creeper in there. What I've been doing is I've named each of the mobs so that they won't despawn. He's new, and I'm not real sure if I want to take a chance on putting a name tag on this one, just because he'll probably blow up my face in the process. So he'll be here however long he's going to be here. So let's get out of the dungeon area and go back up to the hub. And I'm going to go counterclockwise here. You can see some paintings over here just for added decoration and whatnot. Over here, we've got the shooting range, and there's two halves to it, mobile and stationary targets. So let's go in here. Over here, this is the mobile target area, so I just rely on mobs to spawn naturally. And if I happen to walk in here and there's something walking around, I whip up my bow and I shoot it. And through here, this is the exit to pick up loot. Here's a little cautionary sign. Management will not be held responsible for injuries or deaths suffered while looting. And you can see the door over there. That's just a little passageway to go through once you've killed all the mobs, and you can go out and collect the loot they drop. Over on this side, it's much more well lit. It's just some stationary targets that I got set up. Just for fun if you feel like practicing your archery or whatnot. Here's arrows. Here's a few bows that I picked up along the way and stuck in there for people to use. So that's fun. Moving on, down here we have my storage area. Nothing really special, just a bunch of chests that I put various things in. So you got stone over here, brick, iron, and coal, random building blocks, wood planks, logs, sapling, and leaves, according to which pieces of wood it are. So top is birch, middle is jungle, and bottom is spruce and oak. When I don't have any spruce logs in here, so I'll fix that later. Over here, just got some chests for dirt, glass, Fences, ladders, torches, and door things. So it's pretty much a catch-all for any of the wooden stuff that you might need. And I also got some iron bars and a couple of pressure plates in here. Over here I got a couple of extra chests for your various redstone items. So that's what I got right now. Wool and dyes. Got the wool and dyes up here, and I've also got a bottom chest for carpet and whatnot. Over here, you got mob leavings, which is basically the loot you pick up, and mob leavings 2, the mobbening, because I needed the title for it, and that's what I came up with. Over here, you got tools. Really don't know why I have 3 chests for this, since that's really all I've got, but I figured, why not? Leashes, tags, and eggs. Eggs everywhere. So the top part is just your leashes and tags, and the bottom are devoted to eggs, which I'll use at some later date. And then you got your noms. So basically, any kind of food you can think of, I got in here. And I also got some seeds down here at the very bottom one. Yep, that's where I put my seeds. And you may have noticed, got our logo up here, FTW, and then just on a whim I added in 13, because I'm kind of a fan of Taz's. So that's what that's there for. Let's go back upstairs. And over down here, on the other side of the staircase, you got the armory. So here's where you got your leather armor, gold armor, and most, if not all of this, is enchanted. So most of it's stuff I picked up from mobs, either out in the wild or in our spawn traps. Here's a chainmail. I've got a little bit of iron armor, but mobs don't usually drop iron armor, so don't have a whole lot of that. And here's where I put bows that I pick up. Also got an enchantment book in here. And here's where I put iron swords whenever I have occasion to collect them. And I've also got some furnaces set up in here in case I have a few blocks of iron ore, gold ore, or what have you, and I don't feel like going downstairs to the foundry. But more on that later. And I also got a couple crafting tables and anvil set up in here. So, that's the armory. Let's go upstairs here. Back here is my garden area, and it's pretty extensive. So, right over here, you got potatoes. Carrots are over here. In the middle area, I've got some sugarcane and a separate water pool that those are set up around. Over here if I can get over there, over here, got 2 rows of watermelon. I like to carry around watermelon. And wheat is on the other side. So, it's not really efficient the way I collect it, because I do it all by hand, and I haven't really set up one of those automated systems that you see sometimes. But maybe that'll be a future project. So you've seen the garden area. Moving on, we have my room. And we go in here. So this is a nice little spot. Used iron blocks instead of nether brick just to set it apart, I guess. And this is where I keep my valuable stuff, like the diamonds, extra enchanted diamond stuff, and also TNT, because we want to keep use of TNT and access to it on the server kind of restricted, because we don't have any griefers per se, but we do have people that like to experiment, and sometimes that goes awry. So you might have noticed other places I have wooden doors, so that if somebody happens to get in, they can get in those, but I set up iron door here just so it's a little more difficult for people to get in. Back in here, I've got a growing area for nether wart. And I'm not really certain why I set this up separately. I guess, I don't know, I wanted to give a little hint of secrecy, just because, I don't know, I'm weird like that. So, getting out of my room and the growing area there, we continue to go around, and here is my water escalator to the lower area, my work area to the foundry, library, and brewery. And if you go in here, ignoring that part right there, here's the water escalator. So it's a little bit long. Just in case you're wondering why I use nether brick for construction, I like nether brick, and I figured for the floor I'd use something that would contrast with it. So since birch wood is pretty much the lightest toned wood you'll find in the game, I thought it'd be a nice contrast, and I like the look of it. So here is a little lobby area for my work floor, and over here we got the library, and this is where my enchantment stations are set up. So you got one over here, you got one back here, one over there, and another in that corner there. And I set up some lounge area, kind of like you'll see in a lot of public libraries. And just for fun, I set up the little flower pots and mushrooms that you can find in witches' huts at various stations throughout the library. Just 'cause. Alright, leaving the library and going around. This is my foundry area. So, got a whole bank of furnaces set up here for mass smelting productions. And I thought I had some stuff in it. Yep, I was smelting stone in here. So, got this little area here. Got some anvils, crafting tables set up in the middle. Just generally for putting stuff together. Alright, over here we got the brewing room. And it's got a little line of brewing stands in here for whenever I feel like mass producing potions. Over here got the finished potions. So got some potions of invisibility, swiftness, strength, night vision, regeneration, and a bunch of splash potions of poison over here. And in here got splash potions of healing. I made those just because of the spawn traps. So you carry a few, and you let the zombies or skeletons spawn at a great deal. And then the nice thing about these is if you throw them at them, the undead mobs are... For the undead mobs, these are harmful to them, and they hurt them all in one bunch. So instead of just sitting there for 2 minutes, if you got a whole bunch of mobs sitting there, instead of sitting there for 2 minutes just hacking away to individual ones, you can throw a few of these and they'll all be dead. And it's a nice little bum rush of experience and loot. I got a few splash potions of harming and then some empty glass bottles for when I make potions again. Over here, I got my ingredients. So I got some nether wart for the base, and I've got some gold nuggets, some glistening melons, and various other ingredients. And then all around here in the center, I've got water pools to fill up the empty glass bottles with. So it's a nice little setup. And then down here, I got a staircase going all the way down as far as I can go. And welcome to hell, because it's a very fire and brimstone kind of place. Basically, this is where I do all my mining for various precious substances. You got gold, iron, coal, redstone, lapis, and diamonds. And I'm not sure if my area is any different from any other ones, but I've found quite a few diamond veins down there, so it's been pretty nice. Okay, so that's it for my work area. So let's go back up here. This is a little access way to get back upstairs, just in case I don't want to put in the effort to go back up the water escalator. And you can see some redstone stuff here, and right here, this is a piston to block off the access point. So it's hidden when you're upstairs, when it's activated. Now, the only problem with this is I haven't figured out a way to retract that from the inside. And I was working on that a little bit before I had started recording, but I don't think I left myself enough room in the initial construction to do what I want to do here. So what we're going to do here is get a little ghetto and chop out the block so you can see the access way. And if I put that back, I'll show you how it works from the outside. You see all these paintings around here. Well, here's a little secret. I set those up to distract from this one in particular. Oh, look at that. There's a switch. Turn that off. And the access point is revealed. So, the kind of the cruddy thing about that is whenever the redstone activates, the trapdoors go back down. So that's kind of annoying. And a little hint that something else is amiss are these birch slabs rather, that cover up the redstone area because for whatever reason redstone takes up a whole one block. So that's kind of annoying. But that's the hidden access to the work area there. And finally, my most recent addition is my experimental weapons facility. So here is a big old area that I've set aside. You see my lighting maintenance room here. I'll get in there in just a minute. But here is the killing room, and I'll explain to you why a killing room is necessary. You can see some mobs in there. So let's go around over here, and you see a switch there. I'll also explain that in just a second. And I go up to this level here, where I set up a couple balconies that you can look down into. Now you'll see in the dark, there's a whole bunch of mobs set up, or that are spawned in there rather, and you can see several trapdoors and pistons. Well, what those are covering up the light sources so the spawns can get in there. Or the trapdoors aren't rather, the trapdoors are to keep the mobs from falling in. Where I've got other lights set up, and there are pistons blocking those as well. Over here, you can see a whole bunch of dispensers, and essentially what those do is I've set up a sort of machine gun construct. Now, I can't take credit for this design. I saw it in a YouTube video. I believe it was made by Fire Rockers, and I adapted my design from that. So, just to give credit where credit is due. And we'll head back down here. And once I get back over here to flip the lights back on, this switch controls all the pistons that cover the lights and uncover them. So, flip this switch, and as you can see, there's light now, preventing further mobs from spawning. And we'll go back up to the viewing balcony, so you can see from up there, unobstructed by a door. All kinds of light, and also there's lava coming down in front of the machine gun construct. And you'll see why there's lava in just a moment. So, let's go ahead and turn this sucker on. You can also see Brian Garvin is here. So, here's a switch that turns it on and off. Let's flip it, and hope I can get back to the viewing balcony in time before it stops firing. Okay, good, it hasn't started yet. There is a little bit of a delay as the signal gets there. I'm not quite sure why the delay is so long, but that works fine for the purposes of demonstration. And hopefully there was not a breakdown that I have to fix later, as that'd be pretty embarrassing. And eventually it will start firing. I really hate this delay. It's not very good for video recording purposes. I'll give it a few more seconds. There's a bad thing about the lava flow is that you can't really see what's going on back there and see if everything's working as it should be. Would have been nice if I could have set up a switch from here to turn this on and off, but that takes some pretty extensive redstone pathing, and considering what I've already got going around the place, I don't think it'd be very practical for me to do that. Okay. Well, it's obviously decided. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, the lava lights here is on fire, and if those things had been in the spot where where I wish they would have been, they'd have gotten lit on fire and slaughtered en masse. So, little long for it to start going, but there's a payoff. And you can run back down there and collect if you want. I'm not going to, just because it didn't really kill anything this time around. But that's no big deal. Arrows are pretty easy to come by now that we've got the skeleton spawner. And I'm going to go turn that off, just so there's not that annoying clicking. Okay, so here's a machine gun maintenance room, where I'll show you the guts of what's going on here. Okay, so here's the redstone pathing, and I'm not really that experienced with redstone. Most of this I set up according to what I saw from that video that Fire Rockers did. But essentially, these power all of this. And I'm not... Of course, that's on the longest delay, because that's how long I thought it would take for me to get to the viewing balcony in order, or in time, to see the thing start firing. Obviously, that's too long. So, lessons for the future. But that is the guts of this construct. And I'll give you a little look here to see how this is working, just in case you want to copy it. Okay. Now, back to the lighting maintenance rooms that I mentioned earlier. Okay, lighting maintenance room. Here we go. There's a few different redstone paths going to various sections to make all this workable. So here's where the redstone path starts, with that switch right there on the other side. And down here, these control the pistons that cover and uncover the floor lights. So when these are powered, when these are powered, these will cover the floor glowstones. And going back here, there's another, and here in the middle there is another. Going up one, this goes to the lights here on the side walls, and these manage the sidewall lights. So it goes all the way around there. Going up here, this took a little bit to figure out, but these are the pistons that block off the lava flow. So it was kind of a pain to figure out at first, because I was still learning on the fly there, and initially I had all these pistons lined up in one row. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that if you put redstone there, all next to each other in a line there, they don't connect to the pistons. So I had to figure something else out, and I came up with this deal here. And there is a little look at all that. Almost fell into the lava there. That would not have been good. So that's a look at all of the redstone pathing that I've got going on to make all this work. So that concludes our tour. Now, if you liked what you saw, give a like or a comment on additions or improvements that I can make and you'd maybe like to see in the future in some future video. If you want a place to talk about Minecraft or any other games you care to mention, or if you'd like to find out how to join the server here and build some of this stuff here, you can check out our Facebook group, FTW Gaming. So that's all from me. I'll see you next time.